It's 19 minutes to 2 o'clock shortly. Devin Murugan from the Money Desk will be with us with some business news. But first, let's bring you this story about family, friends and colleagues paying tribute to the late Shona Ferguson this morning in Johannesburg. A memorial service. They shared fond memories of the renowned film producer and actor who was laid to rest on Wednesday. The 45-year-old died of COVID-19 related complications. ANC reporter Kaelihle Khumalo was at that memorial and is in Rosebank now and is joining us now live on the Midday View. Kaelihle Khumalo, I'm sure because of the kind of fraternity that Shona Ferguson belonged to, it must have been a very beautifully arranged memorial service with wonderful speeches made by all kinds of actors and people in the sector.
Well, Brian, I can tell you this much. It's been a...
We seem to have...
Well, that's right, Brian. You know, it's been a day of really just paying homage to one of the stars here in South Africa, really somebody who really just changed the status quo, as it were, in terms of the film industry in the country. So the peers, the contemporaries, the family members really paying homage to the star. But I'm just going to get straight into it, Brian, speaking to some of the peers here. And somebody who had a very monumental task was the MC today, and a day to remember such a giant at a very tender age of 47. Maybe just your memories today as we reflect on this young legend.
Thank you, Kaya. You know, Shona, in fact, I think the last words that I said, saying that he's a paragon of excellence. He was a workaholic. And, you know, Khalil Gibran, in fact, you know, a lot of, I think in Prima, the restaurant, they've got this saying behind, printed on the T-shirts of the waiters. And it says, work is love made visible. And, you know, when you saw Shona work, you saw his love. And I think by that, then his love, you know that that man has got love, and that love permeated everything that he did. He loved his work, he loved people, he loved life, and he will be sorely missed.
And just in terms of the legacy, you reflected on the fact that today, you know, you're doing a lot of things thanks to his unyielding commitment in supporting the actors, so many peers in the field. But what is he leaving behind?
Bro, he's living, you know, in fact, one of the things that I said his untimely death has robbed him that ability to keep on creating in his own image. There is a footprint that he has left in the people that he has worked with, and that he has worked with, but there was still more, because I know for a fact he was working on establishing his own film school. So you can see where the man, and he was a visionary. And like I said also, that he is one person that if any young man or young person out there aspiring to be in the creative industry, they should sit down, collect or just amass what Shona or even his interviews, and that they will find a template that they should follow, and success through that is guaranteed.
All right, so thank you so much indeed, and sincere condolences to you. But somebody also who's a childhood friend, and he really made a very fond speech there in front of Britain, you know, just during the course of the memorial service, is Tado Sikwane. Say you were reflecting that, you know, since he was 10, he was like this handsome lad. Maybe just take us back to the memories going through your mind right now.
In fact, one of the reasons I agreed to speak at the memorial, because like I said earlier, you know, there's at least 100 other people who are qualified to speak before me, who are also childhood friends. But I think because our friendship, our different times that we intersected were in different phases in our lives. So I figured I'd probably best encapsulate that. You know, whether it was from the time we were 10 years old, riding bicycles in the neighborhood, or, I mean, the Fergusons had like a massive film collection. Like, they had a massive film collection. And I'm not surprised he is a movie maker, because in that household, if you wanted to watch The Godfather, it was there. You wanted to watch Rocky, it was there. Bruce Lee movies were there. Whatever you wanted to watch, the Fergusons had it on VHS tape. So, like I said, so whether it was that or much later in life when we were much older and relating differently, throughout, for me, almost the thread in Shona's life is the fact that he was always not only present, but he always stood out. He was always, like I said in my speech, always memorable. There's no one I can tell you now that encountered Shona, whether we were kids or now, that can tell you they forgot him.
And maybe just before I let you go, Tato, obviously, I mean, as kids, did you ever talk about having this massive empire, producing all these much-loved films and, you know, soapies here in South Africa and beyond our borders?
The weird thing is I never once heard him talk about filmmaking. That's actually the weirdest thing. So yes, as kids, we're playing and we're on our bikes and we're shooting our pellet guns and our catapults and whatever else, but never once discussed movies. That's why I was shocked the day I saw him on my TV. I was like, how? Uncle Sho, was now Osteri, Musoli Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? But one thing I can tell you though is we speak so fondly of him, but forgetting he is of two parents who were incredibly good parents. I mean, his grounding didn't just fall from the skies. Mr. and Mrs. Ferguson raised their kids as exemplary citizens, as kids who, even in your success, you must be humble. His parents were successful, his grandparents were successful. But one thing I can tell you about the Ferguson clan always is humility walks into the room before they do. But when they do walk into the room, you know they're in the room.
All right, Tato, thank you so much indeed for your time. So, but also, Braden, I mean, there was a very fond tribute that was paid by the widow, Shona Ferguson. You know, she spoke about the beautiful love that they had. Perhaps if we can just try and listen to that particular clip.
A life partner for 20 years. I thought we were going to have a lifetime together. But that wasn't to be. I'm not crying today. I'll probably cry later. I'll cry as the emotions well up. But today I choose to celebrate my husband. I choose to celebrate a giant. I don't know, you guys, you saw the show reel. My husband was a showman, right? Not a show off. He was a showman. He walked into a room and you felt his presence. He walked into a room and you felt God's presence.
That's a statement there by Shona Ferguson, South African actress there. Ending that report by Khumalo here on the Midday View.